My name is Erica. I'm glad you're here and that we get to do some chair yoga today. Today we're going to focus on the lower body. And so in another session we focus on upper body work. Today we're going to focus on lower body work. Why this is so important, especially for those of us who are seated for long amounts of time during the day, whether we're driving the car or the commute, whether we're at our desk. There's so many different options and times where we're just stagnant. And it's not a bad thing, because we can be really productive. But when we're in a position and we haven't strengthened our body or done a lot of flexibility and work with our body, it can often cause some traumas, some side effects, some things that aren't the most fun. And so we are mindful of stretching and working our body and getting everything open up so we don't have long-term ramifications of being in a seated position for too long. So first, we're going to start just with finding a place with your feet are on the ground. And so if there's a slight elevation, your hips are slightly higher, so you have some downward angle, that's awesome. If you have the ability to adjust your seat, you have one of these little levers, and you want to go down a little bit lower, so you're more like parallel, you can do that too. Just find a comfortable place. Spread your toes out, press down if you can into the earth or into the carpet, the ground, into your shoes. Draw the shoulders back. Just take a moment to sit up nice and tall. Squeeze and engage through your low belly. As you pull the belly in, squeezing, we're getting this nice, strong, engaged energy around the midsection. And when we engage our abdominal muscles and we strengthen our abdominal muscles, that is supporting the back. And structurally, we want to be able to focus on supporting the hips, the back. So as much as working lower body, we think of this connection, this kind of midsection, as the connection between the upper and lower. And it's really important that we strengthen that. So doing exercises to strengthen your core is amazing for back support, especially if you're in the seated posture. Also, taking a moment just to acknowledge our posture. A lot of times we're like this, right? Especially the more people pile stuff on you, you feel like there's a lot to do and you kind of just lean into it and you just, and so opening, sitting, engaging, and lifting up is a really important part of the structural support. So as we move in our body, it's not just these, 20 or 30 minutes of movement, but it's all of the hours of the day that you're in accumulated position or posture as to whether you feel supported and engaged or whether you feel the weight and the rounded forward and the kind of slumping of the shoulders, which creates some of the neck tension and other issues through the shoulders. And so just thinking about your posture is always good. Sitting up nice and tall, just taking a moment here. I want you just to reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Reach up and lengthen. Squeeze your core, pull your belly button in towards the spine, and press down through your feet. As you do so, just taking a nice deep breath in and out. Breathing in and out through the nose is the goal. One more time. Nice inhale. And then exhale. Gently release the hands down to the thighs. We're just going to take a few moments to move in this cow-cat position. So we're just going to round the spine, the shoulders back as we press the belly forward, and then arch the spine back. And so you can have your hands on your knees, your thighs, where it feels comfortable. Sometimes people will even lean forward, still kind of engage. Just taking a moment to get this flexion extension of the spine. Just taking a moment to open and move. Breathing. Breathing in as the belly comes in towards the spine, out as you press the chest forward. Just taking 2 or 3 more breaths. It's also a good way to shake off some of the day, just kind of giving yourself some connection, coming back to center. Nice, breathe. Sit up tall when you're ready. Pull the belly button in, squeeze the core, feel strength as you sit tall. And then from here, we're going to take a moment to gently inhale and lift our right leg up. If it's available, reach for your foot or your shoe and cross your right leg on top of your left. So we're coming into this figure 4 position. The left foot's still on the ground for support and the right leg is up and over. So sitting up nice and tall, our goal is to press our right knee down away from the belly button. So we're taking it away and down. And if it feels good to you, I'm going to slide forward just a little bit. So I'm a little bit more on the edge of my seat. And that lets my hips and my tush, the front half of my thigh connections, my hamstring connections, hang off the seat. And the seat's kind of pressing up into that ledge right underneath the shelf of the cheeks. And so that gives a nice little space here for me to go a little deeper, pressing down. So from here, you can just take 5 nice, slow, deep breaths sitting up tall. If you'd like to intensify this or get more opening into the hip here, we're going to press the right knee down gently. So you can use your hand to kind of gently press it away. So I'm gently pressing my hands. So I'm imagining I'm taking my hands and I'm picking them away from one another. So as I press down with my left hand and my right hand, I'm just taking a few nice, slow, deep breaths. And then just relax the pressure for a moment, let it just sit here, and take a moment to see how it feels in your body. If you have really tight hips, sometimes this is awkward. I have clients a lot of times in class who, have a hard time even lifting their leg up and over because their hips are so tight. So be kind to yourself without any judgment. If you're feeling like you've got some extra tension going on in the hips, give yourself space just to enjoy the journey without any force or pressure. If you have any kind of sciatic issues, piriformis tension, you have the shooting pain that goes down your glute and your hip, this is a great stretch for that. I also recommend sometimes taking like a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball and placing it underneath the glute, right at the middle of the cheek, and kind of place that ball right underneath. And you can either just sit on it regularly, or you can go into this posture and just kind of moving the leg around with the lacrosse ball underneath the right glute in this position with the right leg, and you're going to get a really good stretch and compression up into the head of the piriformis muscle, which is the one that loops under the glute and through that area that creates the pinching on that sciatic nerve. And so this is a great place to breathe. You can stay here for a second set, because a lot of times it takes a little bit for the body to release. When you get into the position at first, a lot of times it's kind of like forceful. And then after you're here for a minute or two, it starts to soften and melt. And so think about like a piece of warm toast and you put the butter on and it kind of melts over time. Yes, so that's what we're going to do. If you want to increase the melting, if you want to increase the efficacy or the depth of the pose and there's no pain, then in our second set, instead of just breathing and maybe putting a little pressure, I'm going to encourage you to press down with your hand and then pull up with your knee. So my knee is working up towards the ceiling and my hand is pressing down. So I'm giving some resistance. And I'm still slightly engaged at the core, breathing in and out through the nose. And we're just going to take 5 breaths here. So you're pressing down with your hand and pulling up with the knee. And this is called reciprocal inhibition, but it's basically going to open up this so we can even get a deeper stretch in just a moment. So we're just going to take 2 more nice slow breaths in and out and in and out. Nice. Inhale, release the pressure. And then don't push up with the knee, just slightly take the knee down, giving it a little deeper stretch, pressing the knee away from the belly button. And maybe there's some space that you find that it goes a little further and a little more open. And if you're on the edge of the seat, feeling supported still, you're not sliding off, but on the edge of the seat, the more you press down, the more you feel the compression of the seat up into your glutes, which really feels good into that area to open the muscles and the attachments of all those muscles that are happening from the hips and the hamstrings up into the base of the tush. Nice. When you're ready, we're just going to slowly release the leg. If available, interlace your hands below the right knee and then pull the knee up into the chest. Just squeezing it up for a moment. If it feels good, you can wiggle your ankle into a circle. So we're pinching into the right hip just for a moment, getting this compression. Nice. Squeeze and pull, still engaging the core, feeling supported through the spine. And then when you're ready, you can extend it out long, maybe give it a little wave side to side if it feels good, pump the toes forward and backwards. I understand if you're close to your monitor, you might need to scoot back so you're not kicking your desk. Nobody wants to kick their screen off. All right. And then from there, we're going to switch sides. So from now, we're going to have the right foot on the earth and then lift the left leg up and over. Crossing the left leg over the right. We're going to have about 5 or 6 breaths here as we begin to just acknowledge where it's at, where the comfort or maybe discomfort might be, and then breathing into this posture. And so breathing in and out through the nose, still engaged through the core slightly, feeling support. Again, you can shift where you're at on your chair or your stool and find a place where you can be supported, but you're slightly, the hamstrings are hanging off the edge of the chair for that support, that little pin and stretch. And then from here, I'm starting to feel a little bit of energy opening. And so just taking a few nice slow deep breaths. As we give our body time to open the connective tissue, the tendons and ligaments and the fascia, all the things that connect around the muscles and the bones and that support keeping structural integrity, it's a slow opening. It's not a force. It's not like you can flex it and it's going to like separate and relax. It's a much more deep, slow opening. So as we move into this, we're going to come into our our opening. So hands on the thighs. You're going to press the hands kind of away from one another as you take the left knee down towards the earth, away from the belly button. Still sitting up tall, just giving a little bit of pressure. Finding some traction, some stretch. Nice slow breaths. Just one more breath. Nice, gently, slowly release. Give it just a moment to melt. Kind of feel how that comes back. It's not a forceful application like a bounce back of a rubber band snapping. It's just that kind of letting it come back into space, finding where your home base is, where it feels right for you. Maybe taking a moment to check in with your leg if you need to adjust it, if there's any tension or any pain in the top of the quad. And then from here, we're going to go into our resistance. And so we're going to pull the left knee up towards the body as we press down with the left hand. I'm going to stabilize my right foot with my hand just so my foot doesn't go sliding off with the resistance. So press the left knee up into the body as you press down with the left hand. And I'm engaging my core because I feel that engagement of all these lower pelvic floor and abdominal muscles. As I'm creating that engagement, I'm building the muscles and creating stability through the whole pelvic floor along with this beautiful opening through the hips, because these muscles come up and attach at the base of the core. And so just finding that resistance, pressing up with the knee and down with the hand and breathing in and out the nose. You might notice that you can press it down even further when you have that resistance. It might feel good. One more nice slow breath here. And then release the knee pushing up and just let the hand press the knee down and away. So there's no resistance, there's just the descending pressure of your left hand on your left knee pressing down. I'm feeling a nice little compression under my left glute and hamstring attachment from the stool, from the seat. And so you might be acknowledging or feeling that too. As you press down, you feel a nice pushing up underneath the head of the glute into the hamstring attachment. And that's a really, really awesome place to open. Compression's a beautiful thing for creating circulation and blood flow and helping the body to move with more ease. So when you're ready, we'll slowly lift this leg up, drawing the left knee up towards the body, interlacing the hands below the knee on the shin, and then just pulling the belly, pulling the thigh and the left knee in towards the belly. So you're connecting your belly and your quad. Still slightly engaged at the core. My right foot's on the ground. And then just taking 5 breaths. If it feels good and you want to move your ankle around, you can. Get some fluid, some energy moving through there. And you can see I'm squeezing my hands really vigorously into one another, so much so that you can actually see my arm muscles are engaged. One more breath. Squeeze and pull, compressing this descending colon, the left side of the abdominal. Nice. When you're ready, gently release the left leg out long, maybe sitting up tall, maybe your leg's out at hip height, maybe it's down a little bit, there's no wrong way, maybe wave the foot side to side if it feels good, pump, toe pump, just get some energy moving. Nice. And then draw both feet back to the ground. If you have the space between you and your monitor, go ahead and stand up for a moment. Acknowledging when we stand up to feel the energy here of, I'm going to adjust my chair here for just a moment. The feet are nice and wide and we're standing tall. I want you to press down through your heels, squeeze the core, squeeze your midsection, squeeze your glutes, and just stand up nice and tall. You can let the arms hang by your side. And just feel the engagement of being in your mountain pose, your nice, strong, tall posture. And take a few deep breaths. That strength and stability that you're creating through the soles of your feet into the mat, all the way up your body, is powerful. And so just for a few moments to feel this connection, draw the hands to your low back. And now that we did this opening through the lower body, we're going to give ourselves just a little bit of hip opening. So press your hands forward onto your low back, fingertips point down. You can bend the knees a little bit if it feels good, and then lift your chest up, look up and back. Begin to straighten the legs if available. Squeeze the glutes vigorously, and then press the hips forward. So we're stretching the attachment points from the front quad up into the hip here. Take a few deep breaths. You don't have to look back. You can just look up if it feels right for you, even looking forward. And just being that open extension of the spine. Nice. Slowly come back up to center when you're ready. Beautiful. From here, we're going to get into the body a little bit more. Find the space. So, draw the feet out wide, and I'm going to shift myself to where my feet are on the ground, my glutes are on the seat, my legs are my knees are out at as far as they comfortably can go. Your toes are going to point out where your knees are. You're not having to point the toes in or anything. You want to keep this opening through the hips. And then from here, we're just going to take ourselves as we sit up, engage the core nice and tall. You can press down your hands into your thighs, kind of like your hands were in your pockets, and press down with your hands. It's going to feel pretty good. Press down with your hands like you're trying to plant yourself to the mat, or into your chair rather, and then squeeze and lift up through the spine. Pull your pelvic floor and your abdominal muscles up to lengthen and lift the spine as you anchor and press down into your thighs and breathe. This traction and resistance is an awesome way for opening through the hips. And it's going to give us some space to do some movements here in just another breath or two. Nice. When you're ready, gently release that. We're going to keep our feet out wide. The arms are going to come overhead. Take your arms, reach them out nice and wide, and then tilt to the left so that your left hand is on the inside of your left knee. Your right hand's going to reach up towards the ceiling. If it feels good, you can keep reaching up, or you can always take your hand and place it behind the head or neck if you want and lift up through the elbow, kind of getting a little bit of a pectoral stretch too. The left hand's going to come down and it's in the back of the knee or the inside of the calf or the knee here. And then from here, we're going to lift and open and look up. We're pressing our left arm down into the thigh, and our right arm is either reaching up or the elbow's back, and we're looking towards the right elbow. If your neck is healthy, you can stay right there. This is kind of like a triangle pose or an opening here to get into the hips. So there's a lot of resistance. That same pressure earlier we used with the knee where we pushed the knee into the arm and the arm into the knee, that's happening right here. So my knee is pressing forward and my arm is pressing back to create this action all the way up into the hip. And I can slide a little bit off the corner of my chair if it feels good here so that the chair is pressing underneath the seat of the glute head and getting that compression again. Your right leg can extend out straight if you want, or you can keep it bent where it feels good in your body. If you want to straighten the right leg out into that kind of triangle pose, really taking a nice deep breath. So we're in our triangle, but we're supported by the chair. It's a beautiful opening space. If this feels good, stay right here, or you can release the right hand to the back. The back of the hand is on the back, and just let it slide back down and look up towards your right shoulder. If you can squeeze your pelvic floor and your abdominal wall in, bonus points for you here as you begin to pull that energy up into the hips and really engage the body systems together and work the muscle groups actively together. Still tractioning the left leg and left arm for one more breath. And this opening of the shoulders, we round the right shoulder back, looking towards the right shoulder or the ceiling. And then when you're ready, release the right arm up, take a big deep breath. And then slowly we're going to pivot the arms. Woo! Nice. Begin to bend the right knee. And then the left leg can straighten if you want. Arms out long, taking a breath in. And then we're going to tilt to the right side. So the right arm's going to come to the inside of the right knee. Left hand's going to reach up to the ceiling. Breathe. Again, you can adjust yourself on your seat so that you feel supported by your seat underneath you, but you still have room. You're kind of on the front edge of it. The left arm's reaching up high, the right arm's reaching down, and I'm pressing my right arm into my right thigh or knee, and I'm pressing my right knee forward into the open space in front of me. So I'm getting that traction or resistance. Again, you can stay here looking down at the right big toe, or if it feels good, you can look up towards your left thumb. Breathe. You can keep the left arm extended, or you can draw the left hand slightly behind the head or the neck, letting it rest there. As you lift up with the left elbow, looking towards the left elbow, still reaching down with the right hand, but reaching up. So we're tractioning our body apart this way with our arms and upper body, and we're tractioning our hips open this way as we give traction through the midsection. Breathe. Squeeze the pelvic floor, engage through the left leg. Nice. If that left leg is extended and straight, you're engaging your quadricep. And so you're pressing into both of the feet and then gently pull the feet towards each other. They're not moving. They're just kind of a little engagement as you feel the inside thigh muscles activate. Breathe. We're not here for too much longer. If you start feeling it, that means you're working your muscles. It's good. If you want that addition of the left hand coming to the low back to a half bind, the back of the hand to the low back and just slide it down. Maybe you can grab your waistband. Maybe you don't need to. And then from there, we're going to lift and open the heart up towards the ceiling as you look towards your left shoulder. Lengthen the head, the neck, opening the throat, feeling that beautiful space. Still tractioning the right arm into the right leg, gentle and fine pressure. Breathe. One more deep breath. Nice. When you're ready, extend the arm. Left hand reaches up, find length, and then slowly begin to tilt the arms. Bring the hands to your hips. Walk your feet back in. Come back to your seat. Sit up tall, take a breath. Notice just for a moment, for a breath or two, how you feel in your body. Can you feel these muscles, the warmth happening across your low back, your adrenals, and your lumbar? I can feel these muscles fired up. It's so amazing. And so we sit all day long, but these muscles don't often get engaged. So in that resistance opening, we're also getting these beautiful hip and glute connector and low back muscles really, really active. Feels good in your body, getting nice and strong. Take your feet back out wide, just to the space that's comfortable for you. Hands on the inside thighs. And then from here, we're going to do, again, a little bit of a opening, pressing the hands into the knees, down and out to anchor. Lengthening the spine, you're hinging forward slightly. So it's kind of like we're playing, team sport, and we're all in the huddle, and the coach is about to give us some instructions, and we're kind of leaning forward like, all right, what are we doing next, right? That's kind of the posture. All right, so grab your huddle spot. Press your hands down into the knees, and then pressing the knees out, and then squeeze the pelvic floor, engage your core. I'm not even really on my seat right now. My hips are barely grazing and touching. If you want to, you can sit all the way on your chair. Just taking a moment to find what feels good in your body. The core is engaged, strengthening, engaging the back. And from here, I'm going to take my left shoulder down towards the ground, and I'm going to look up towards the ceiling with my eyes. And I'm pressing into my left leg, and I really feel this at my low back hip connector on the right side. We often feel it where we need it in our body, and so you may feel in your low back this deep twist through these hips and opening the low back muscles that we just stretched and engaged in our triangle. So just taking a breath here, dipping the left shoulder down, keeping the opening, and then come back to center, inhale. And then exhale, we're going to switch to the other side. So we're going to bend the right shoulder down as we look over the left elbow or the left shoulder. Nice. Pressing the right hand into the right knee, getting that resistance. And then you feel it maybe going up and over around the low back, into the hip crest. Taking another breath. One more time. Inhale, come back to center. Nice. Gently draw the feet back in front of you. Take a deep breath, sit up tall. Just for a moment, experience what's happening in your low back, in your hips. Can you have any sensation or awareness that might be different within your body just after engaging it for these short 10, 15 minutes, right? Nice. We're going to come into a couple of more postures. I'm going to do these standing, and so I invite you to stand if you have the space, and you can utilize your desk. If your desk is higher, I have a desk right here. You can't see it, but it's right in front of me, so my foot is on my tabletop. You can use the desktop if you want, if you have flexibility in your hamstrings, or you could use, whoopsie daisy, trip over my little pillow behind me, or you can use the seat of your chair. So find what feels good for you. And for visuals, I'm going to stay here. And then if your seat lowers or rises, you can always play that game too. Okay, so sit up nice and tall. We're going to, you can have your hips facing kind of your bottom foot, your left foot. My left foot in this position is down on the ground, my right foot is up. And so I'm just gonna take a moment to sit up nice and tall, press down through my foot, flex your toes towards you, kind of stretching through your calf. And if this feels good, you can stay right here. And then taking this into a stretch. So my left hand is gonna go up and over. The same arm the foot's on the ground, the same side is going to come up and over into kind of a deep stretch on the side body. I'm also feeling this deep stretch on the inside of the thigh and the groin. And so left arm is reaching up and over. Can't really see it, I'm all the way off screen, but this nice deep stretch here. And if it feels good, you can look up towards the top arm, or you can stay looking down at the foot. And then inhale to come back up tall. And then exhale. You can adjust yourself if you need to. Put your foot down, square the hips so you're facing your hips toward the chair now. And so now there's not as much pressure on the inside of the knee. Sitting up nice and tall, the hands are going to be on the hips, or you can slide your hands down your leg for support. And we're just going to walk ourselves forward. If you need to, or you have the access to touch the chair, you can touch the chair. If you're feeling tight and the chair is not really accessible, just take your hands and gently rest them on your thighs. You're not squeezing for dear life, because we're going to engage the core to stabilize this posture to stay here. So as we squeeze our pelvic floor and our abs up and in and feel strength through here, hinging forward with the chest and the upper body, then we're going to feel some stretch through the underside of our right thigh, the glute. Again, if you walk your hands forward towards the seat of the chair, this might be your stabilizer. We're just going to take 3 or 4 breaths right here. If you're really flexible and open, then you can slowly begin to draw your chest down, and maybe you're working your belly towards your thigh and your head towards the shin as you just slowly hinge all the way down. That would be really, really, really deep opening for your hamstrings. And we actually need this. Our hamstrings get super tight when we're seated a lot. So just taking a few deep breaths. Nice. When you're ready, draw the foot to the chair. Now you might have to bring your back leg closer if you need to. Again, you could lower the chair if it needs to, finding the space that works for you. And from here, we're just going to take a moment to hinge forward into this kind of runner's lunge. And so I'm going to place my hands on my knee or my thigh and just kind of getting in a little stretch into the quadriceps. If you want your hands kind of pressing into the quadriceps for a little bit of almost a massage here. And this is also getting a nice deep stretch into the front of the left hip, thigh, groin. So we're just going to take a few breaths. And then the last piece of this side that we're going to do is taking it into a version of a half pigeon. And so from here, this might not be as easy on a chair as it is a stool. You may have to swivel your chair back so your chair back is kind of off to the side. And so kind of playing with it. But what's going to happen is we're going to take our right leg and we're going to take it across the seat of the chair. And so if you have arms on both sides and a back, it's going to be harder. If there's a way to get rid of your arms on your chair, I mean, it will help out. So you can kind of play with it. And this is also an option where you could use your desk. So actually, imagining that this were the front edge of my desk, if I just came up with my hands on my desk and take my right leg across my desk, this would be an option. So we want to have our right leg at anywhere from 90 degrees across to 45 degrees kind of pointed back. And we're sitting kind of this right hamstring onto the chair seat or onto the desk. So you can kind of play with it and see where it works for you, right? And then we're sitting up tall from here, inhaling. My left foot is on the ground. I'm pressing down through my toes to stabilize my left leg. I'm letting my left hip be heavy. And my left thigh and leg and hip and abdomen, groin isn't on the chair. Just my right leg is on the chair. From here, you can stay here, putting your weight into your hands and leaning forward. Or if you want more, then we slowly bow forward and we come down to rest over our right thigh and we get a deep stretch into the right cheek. So I'm getting a really big stretch back here on the right glute, all the way wrapping around my hamstring and into my glutes. And you can just let your head be heavy, kind of rounding forward as if you're taking a nap on a warm stone, a big, huge rock in the middle of the river, and you're just kind of wrapping yourself up over it. Breathe in and out the nose. See if you can let go with gravity and just let gravity do the work here as you breathe without a whole lot of force or pressure. And you might feel the muscles wrapping around to the inside of the thigh. You could hold this position for 3 to 5 minutes if you have them. We don't have that much time today, so we're going to slowly press up and inhale. If available, sit up nice and tall before you change the posture, and then hands to the chair as you lift up, stabilize yourself. Releasing. It's hard when you have swivelly chairs and maybe chairs on wheels, and so always stabilizing yourself so you're not having any quick reactions when you get out of a posture is helpful. Another option that you can do in your office is actually taking a plank pose onto your chair head. So if you wanted to do like some core to stabilize core, you could just hold a plank right here. I'm squeezing my buns, I'm squeezing my core. This is a great posture to do for 30 to 60 seconds at a time. And you could use your desktop, if it's more stable, taking your hands on the edge of your desk, and you could also do this. I see a lot of people also turn this into a plank where you're doing push-ups, and so they'll do push-ups in that position, drawing the elbows in nice and tight. We're not going to do a bunch of them, but I just want to give you some options to play with. I'm actually going to take the stool, I'm going to switch it to the other side so we have a good opportunity for visual, and then we're going to do the other side of our body. So from here, we're going to take our left foot and lift our left leg up. Finding your desk or your chair, whatever feels right for you. The right hip is pointing out to the side, so your toes point forward, and the left hip is going out to the left. So we have this opening. The right arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling, inhaling, and then coming over the body into a side stretch. So if you can keep your hips pointed forward instead of caving in, keep the chest open, that same kind of energy we did in our triangle, and then sliding the hand down and finding a deep stretch into this right hip, low back glute. Just taking 3 or 4 breaths here. And we're going to work for balance, being mindful of our time. And when you're ready, we'll slowly inhale and come back up. Nice. Again, you can take your left foot off the chair to realign if you want, so you don't have to jump around or take a chance of falling, because it doesn't look good to be cool. It doesn't serve us to look cool if then we trip, fall, or hurt ourselves. I know this. I've tried it both ways. All right, so hips are square. We're facing towards our left leg, sitting up tall. Inhale. Squeeze your core as you engage the pelvic floor. We're stabilizing in these back muscles. So we're lifting up tall, and then we're going to hinge at the hip as we hinge forward. Hands might rest again on the thigh or the shin or the chair top. Find what feels good in your body. Inhaling, we lift up, pulling the belly in, squeezing the core. Exhale, we slowly soften as we hinge forward, lowering the chest down. Again, you might not go all the way down to the leg. That's okay. It's not important. What's important is that you're feeling this stretch through the hamstring, through the calf. And if you pull your toes back towards you, it intensifies it more down here in the calf and into the Achilles. Especially if you have tight ankles, or if you feel like sometimes when your feet are on the ground all day, we don't have a lot of support with circulation because our feet close to the earth means that all the blood flow is going down. So we might feel like we have cankles. So even just taking a moment to sometimes move your ankles around, elevate your ankles, it's powerful. One of my favorite things is actually putting my feet up in the air before I go to bed at night. And I lay on my back and put my legs up in the air and just put a pillow under my low back or my hands under my low back and just take maybe 5 or 10 breaths. It's a powerful way to increase the circulation and get things moving from your feet back to your heart to reoxygenate the blood flow, especially when we spend all day walking on our feet. Is there anyone out there who walks on your hands all day? Nope. Okay, you guys don't work at the circus. Yeah, me neither. All right. Take another breath. Find the depth if it feels good for you. And then we're going to slowly rise back up when you're ready to inhale. Gently, we're going to come into our half pigeon. So again, we're going to take our left leg and adjust your chair as needed to get the left leg onto the cushion or the seat. The right leg can slide back. As you extend your right leg, giving some space, it's back on the ground, create that opening. And then the left leg is going to support onto your chair seat, give you a little bit better angle here. And so as we're on this supported, you can see it really well on this side, that right here is the edge of the seat. So my entire right side is not on the seat. Now, again, you can kind of play and find the space that feels good. The further I take my knee to the left and bring my foot into a parallel shin, the deeper the posture gets. If I want to bring my foot back closer to my body, that's okay too. Find where it feels good in your body. Hands on the seat or on the desk if you're using the desk. And then sit up nice and tall to inhale. Still pushing off my right foot for support. So my right leg is grounded. I have stabilizing here, so I'm not going to fly around on the chair. And then I'm going to shift forward, lean forward, core's engaged slightly, and then all the way down, I'm going to rest my upper body onto my thigh on my left leg and knee. And I'm going to actually let my hands just hang down towards the earth and take full gravity here. I can actually reach down and grab the footrest of my chair. And if I want, I could pull myself deeper into the posture. I'm not going to do that today, though, because I want gravity to open. I want to let this releasing happening with gravity through my left glute and my low back. And so just taking a few breaths here. It's more a deep stretch than it is a intensifying muscle build. We definitely have a lot of yoga postures where we can build strength and get the musculature engaged to support the body. But in 30 minutes, it's not always that easy to do. The flexibility and the stretching and getting some energy moving and circulation is definitely going to serve us when we go right back to being in our seat and feel a little bit more energized, more blood flow, circulation, and support. So we're just going to take another breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly inhale to lift up, rise. Beautiful. Invite the right foot forward, gently release the leg. Take a moment here to shake out your legs. You might feel funny. Hopefully you're not going to like kick your high heels off and, chuck it at anybody else or your flats, whatever. I know some of us, we rock barefoot in our office. Shh, don't tell. Breathe. Yeah, shake it out. And then the last one we're going to do together is going to be to open this energy. I'm going to take my chair and rise it up for support. Okay, so you can always use the desk. And I'm going to even maybe step down so you get a little bit better visual here. All right, so what's going to happen here is we are going to work at grabbing the left hand to the left foot. And so I'm going to hinge forward, taking the left hand onto the knee and sliding it down towards the foot. Once you have the foot, then go ahead and bring the foot behind you. I'm grabbing from the outside of my foot with my left hand, my left foot. Nice. And then you can stand up straight if this feels good, or you can stay hinging forward over your chair. Your hips are square towards the chair. And then from here, I'm just going to slowly begin to kick my foot back away from my belly button. So this is a variation of a bow pulling pose. You're stable with your right hand. And bringing this into a full bow pose would mean that you would reach your right arm up, working on your balance. We're not so worried about that today. We want to focus on this kick back and extension, so we're opening through the hip flexors. When we're seated all day long, our knee is way forward, and these muscles get pulled in tight. So now we're trying to get the muscles that attach to the front of the abdomen down to the front of the quadricep, and we're trying to lengthen them back and away. So if you're really flexible, it would look more like this, where you're kicking back vigorously. You're just holding the foot with your hand. You're not using it to pull or anything, but you're kicking and extending. Just one more breath. Nice. We're going to slowly release, do the other side, and then we're going to wrap up. So just taking a moment to balance the body out. So left hand to the seat or tabletop, your desktop, right hand on the knee, and then slide it down the shin until you get to the foot. Nice. Once you have the hand under the foot, hips are square to the chair, begin to slowly kick back. As you kick the right foot back, taking the right knee away from the belly button, you're going to feel that opening. Nice. Breathe. I'm coming down to my forearm. That feels comfortable for me, so I can focus on the right leg in the opening. Kicking a little further. If it feels good to stand up tall, you can do it that way too. Kicking back, extending, and finding that nice deep stretch. We just have about 3 breaths left here. Not a long time. Nice slow breaths in and out the nose. Last one. Kick, 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 and then gently release. Woo! Nice. Taking just a moment. If it feels good, go ahead and shake your legs out again. Just kind of get some energy moving. Nice. And then the last thing we're going to do, which you don't need your chair for, but if this is low back tension or painful, you can use a chair. You could sit on your edge of your chair and just hang forward, crossing. We're going to put our pinkies into our elbow creases. Or you can keep your feet hip width, bend your knees, and then it's called a ragdoll bind. So we're just going to take our ragdoll and hinge forward, and you're just going to forward fold. Your belly's on your thigh, and your head is heavy. As you hang here, just taking a few deep breaths, you should feel this opening across your low back, down through the glutes, into the hamstrings, and just let your head be heavy. You can stay still and stagnant here, or you can bounce a little bit if it feels good. A lot of people like to rock the arms side to side and the hips side to side, getting some opening. So if I were on my stool, it would lower my chair, it would look like this, kind of just hinging forward, folding over yourself with your tush still on the chair. And then when you're ready, we'll just slowly rise back up. We're going to take one more of our back bends. So hands to your low back as you press your fingertips down, your palms on your low back, and then press your hands forward, elbows back, look up if it feels good. Or you can keep looking forward and just draw your elbows back. Squeeze your core, your pelvic floor, and your glutes. Press your hands forward and draw the elbows back. Opening, opening, opening. Nice. When you're ready, release your hands to your legs. Take a deep breath and inhale the arms overhead. Fill the lungs up. Exhale, draw the hands down to the heart. Just 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. And exhale. Nice. As we close today, just taking 3 nice slow breaths here with the thumbs at the heart. Take a moment to thank your body for being open, flexible, willing, for making time for yourself. As we invite ease into our body, into the structure, ease into our thoughts, and open ourselves to be in the flow of energy through our body and through our day, we just honor that this is innately our gift to operate with ease and be in flow. And so if you'd like, you can just take a breath or 2, staying right here, honoring yourself in this space. And if you'd like, you can always draw the thumbs to the forehead into the third eye. And this is the seat of intuition or knowing. And so from this place of knowing, I bow to you. Namaste. Take a breath or 2. Allow yourself just to feel the energy moving through your hips, your low back, just taking an opportunity to be there. Anything that you might want to wiggle or move around. Sometimes just even walking, just kind of moving the hips and walking and feeling what's happening in your body is an awesome transition from being in your seat. And so while you're flexible and while you're open, while we've engaged these big muscles and created some blood flow and circulation and warmth, it's really important to, if you can, get up out of your chair and go walk a loop around the office, right? Or get up and go to the restroom, or get up and walk outside and go and find some sunshine just for a few moments. If there's sunshine out there, or maybe there's some trees you can hug or some fresh air you can breathe, go out and put yourself in a place where you can move in your body just for a moment and feel good about your strength, your connectivity, and the flow and the ease that you have. So these are some exercises that we can do, and you can do them one at a time, you can do them all together, but taking a few moments to ground, to reconnect, and to open and support your hips, your lower body, your low back, engaging with your pelvic floor and your abdominal muscles on purpose. I know we carry these around with us all the time, but we don't actively use them on purpose a lot. They kind of just fire as a, side project, like they're there helping us, but we don't really invite them to do the work. The more you get connected to invite them, the stronger you're going to feel in your support of your spine, in your low back and your hips, and with your posture at your desk. So I hope this helped. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.